Ah, ich glaube, jetzt geht's. Jetzt geht's, glaube ich. Jetzt geht's, glaube ich. Was ist denn jetzt? Warum kann ich dieses... Ah, genau, jetzt wollte ich so. So. Ich glaube, es geht jetzt. Ich glaube, es geht. Kann es sein, dass es jetzt geht? Seht ihr mich? Hört ihr was? Seht ihr was? Wäre cool, wenn es geht. Wäre cool, wenn es geht. Hallöchen an alle. Deutschland ist scheiße, okay. Alles klar.
So one of the biggest challenges of making this game is going from Second Son, where we had very static-based time of day.
Hi. So, Leute, erste Mal Livestream auf auf YouTube. Hat den ganz einfachen Grund, weil ja, wie gesagt, danach ein Interview kommt. Mit Jason Blundell, dem Leiter des Modus Studios, und ich würde gerne das Ganze dann einfach veröffentlichen. Und so kann ich das dann auch einfach veröffentlichen. Klingt logisch, ne? Schauen wir da gerne mal auch hier am Start auf YouTube. Nice, was geht. Moin Scepter, moin Dion Shabani. Moin Bomber, moin, was geht? Leute, was geht? Sound lauter? Meinst du jetzt vom Livestream oder was? Da ist gerade eh nichts Interessantes gerade. Ich mache danach natürlich Sound lauter und mache die Musik aus, wenn irgendwas Interessantes da kommt. Grudon sagt auch eine Frage, sieht man mein Logo? Ich weiß nicht, ich sehe deinen Namen. Ja, Livestream mache ich gleich lauter, wenn Call of Duty dran ist. Starbarker auch einen schönen Abend. Verax, hi, was geht? Was geht, Leute? Was geht? Wird Zeit, dass Bloggers wieder rauskommt. Ja. Moin, Martin. Wie lang geht ein Livestream? Ja, so lang wie das Interview geht. Ich weiß nicht, wie lang genau das geht. Ich schätze aber eine halbe Stunde. Also ich kann euch mal kurz zeigen. Also 1:45 Uhr. Startet das Ganze hier. Und 2:30 Uhr ist dann erst das nächste. Ich glaube aber nicht, dass es eine Dreiviertelstunde lang geht, sondern nur eine halbe Stunde und dann irgendwas anderes ist. Aber so viel könnt ihr auf jeden Fall einplanen. So, jetzt hat sich bei mir alles geschlossen, obwohl ich das nicht wollte. So. Bin so hyped auf Black Ops 4, ja, ich auch. Bin mal ziemlich gespannt, was da alles kommt. Sana, auch einen schönen Abend. Baumschläger, hi, was geht, Leute? Welche Partei würdest du wählen? Ich spreche auf jeden Fall jetzt nicht über irgendwelche Parteien hier. Ich rede jetzt hier in der Stream nicht über irgendwas Politisches. Wo streamt Twerk? Oh, ich habe aus Versehen das wieder weggemacht. Moment, hier. Wo guckst du den Stream? Ich kann euch gerne den Link schicken. Einen Moment. Hier läuft der Stream. Hoffentlich keine Kaugummis oder sowas. Ich hoffe auch nicht drauf. Bin nur halb auf Zombies, kann kein Battle Royale mehr sehen. Ja, Battle Royale muss ich auch nicht unbedingt sehen. Muss ich auch nicht unbedingt haben. Aber ja. Auf Mixer, ja. Ich habe keine Ahnung, wo es sonst noch läuft, aber ich habe auf dem Mixer jetzt gefunden im Livestream. Wann fängt es an? Um 22:45 Uhr, also in gut 8 Minuten. In gut 8 Minuten fängt es an.
treat it like a silent movie. I mean, not really, but it's pretty close because we're trying to keep the action on screen. Hear the monks yelling inside of the Moscow giving up a in action. And then the betrayal is expressed even while you're inside of the demo. You go interactive, and it is saying, you know, we're a good friend, and saying, give me a monk. You're a player, and you just want to attack right off the bat. You can't. We're putting the story inside a space where you can interact with it. And so that's cheap. All of our stories.
Muss ich mal kurz noch. So. Wurde irgendwas Neues geschrieben? Uiuiui. So, ein paar Sachen wurden gestreamt. Ah ja, ich bin gerade heute wieder AfD. Ist, ja. Ich rede dazu jetzt nicht. So, hi an alle Neuen hier. Weihnacht auf Twitch. Stream heute oder was? Hier. Weil ich das Ganze dann direkt hochladen will. Wann ist Jason Blundell dran? Um 22:45 Uhr in 7 Minuten. Case, hi. Hi, hi, hi. Epic auch. Hallöchen. Freezer, hi, was geht? Kannst du andere Sprachen außer das langweilige Deutsch? Yes, of course, I can speak English too. So. Aber ich werde jetzt hier auf jeden Fall nicht in Englisch reden. Und ich finde Deutsch nicht langweilig. Das ist meine Muttersprache. So, können wir jetzt darüber aufhören? Bitte, der Unbekannte. Bitte, bitte. Kennst du mich hier von gestern? Bin echt big time bei Twitch. Yo, dein Name sagt mir noch was. Schön, dass du hier auf YouTube einschaltest. Omega 8, yo, Reaper, yo, was geht? Willkommen zum Stream, was geht, was geht? Oppo, moin, auch am Start. Isan, hi, was geht, was geht? Höckergestalt, auch am Start. Guten Abend, was geht? Hast du gestern noch angemacht? Frauen? Ah, stimmt. Diese Mücke hier, die nervt mich ja richtig hart. Ich habe dich schon vermisst. Ja, ich habe gestern noch angemacht, aber gestern gab es echt keine News mehr. Also es war gestern echt für den Arsch. Bin ich noch rechtzeitig? Habe ich was verpasst? Nein, du bist noch rechtzeitig. In 5 Minuten startet das Ganze erst. Also von daher, habt ihr mal abonniert. Danke dir für ein Abo. Leonard, auch dir einen schönen Abend. Was geht? Wie lange wird das Stream gehen? Ich schätze mal eine halbe, dreiviertel Stunde. Schau dich schon so lange, das freut mich, Zepter. Das freut mich. Das freut mich, dass du schon sehr lange dabei bist. Was ist das für ein Spiel im Hintergrund? Ich weiß es gerade nicht auswendig. Das ist irgendwas mit Ghost, das ist irgendein Sony-Spiel. Ich warte eigentlich nur auf Zombies. Ghost of Tsushima heißt das Spiel. Ja.
In time, not this time. No, I gotta say this is it's so exciting because you know across worldwide studios.
So.
Continue to push in a new direction. Evolution of the type of games that done looks so beautiful. What do you guys think? Looks pretty good, right? Yeah. Well, I know there's lots of hard work ahead wrapping this up, but I personally cannot wait to get a chance to play it.
So, sind die fertig jetzt oder was? Sind die jetzt fertig dort oder was? So, ich glaube, ich mache jetzt mal Musik aus. Ich weiß jetzt nicht, ob irgendwas noch dazwischen kommt. Ja, jetzt wird mir wahrscheinlich noch irgendwelche Trailer gezeigt. So, normal schalte ich hier ein. Bist du schließlich meine Lieblings-YouTuber. Freut mich zu hören. Danke dir, Epic, danke dir. Bist du auf Twitch auch an? Nee, gerade nur auf YouTube, weil würde ich auf beiden Plattformen streamen. Ich glaube, dann wird mein Internet einfach AD sagen. Welche Zombie-Map ist deine Lieblingsmap? Gute Frage. Ich mag echt alle Zombie-Karten. Wo ist der Donation-Link? Gibt's nicht. Lockdown, moin, was geht? Oh. Ah, okay. Startet aber noch nicht. Diese Mücke hier. Ich dreh gleich durch. Denkst du, Brutus kommt wieder in Blood of the Dead? Ich weiß nicht, kann gut sein. Kann ich mir gut vorstellen. Warst du nicht damals bei Weg die Custom Zombies mit dabei? Ja klar, ich kenne Kevin sehr gut. Kein Shisha-Mode gibt's nicht. Wo ist die Shisha? Die ist gerade schon auf dem Weg, Leute. Nico, 187, moin moin. Was geht? Willkommen zum Stream. Denkst du, dass in Black Ops 3 die restlichen Zombie-Karten dazu kommen? Ich weiß es nicht. Heute wurde nochmal angekündigt von den Leuten von Activision, dass eben sie immer noch nicht fertig sind, Sachen in Black Ops 3 zu bringen. Shisha und Bier? Ja, Bier gerade nicht. Hast du Alertbox? drin. Gerade nicht, glaube ich. Skinkslayer, moin, was geht? Hi, 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 hi. Dr. Pepper weg, die antwortet mir nicht. Dann kann ich auch nichts dafür. Hast du einen Link zum Stream? Ich glaube, jetzt habe ich ihn gerade nicht mehr drin. Ich glaube, gerade eben habe ich ihn jetzt wieder raus. Gerade eben habe ich ihn raus. Habe ich viel verpasst? Ne, bis jetzt noch nichts. Startet gleich erst. In 3 Minuten. Ich glaube, in der Zeit, in den 3 Minuten, mache ich mir schnell noch meinen Kopf. Vielleicht. Soll ich mir jetzt noch schnell einen Kopf machen, weil Kohle liegt auf dem Grill. Schaffe ich das innerhalb von 3 Minuten? Ich weiß nicht, ob ich das innerhalb von 3 Minuten schaffe, Leute. Fabi, XD, hi, was geht? Willkommen zum Stream. Damals noch Custom Zombies mit Wegtick? Ja. Das Lied, ich kann es mal kurz hier reinhalten. Hier, das ist das Lied. Get Back Up von P&A Production. Übersetzt du das? Ja, ich werde ein bisschen, natürlich das Ganze kommentieren auf Deutsch und ein bisschen hier für euch das Ganze zu übersetzen, falls jemand von euch nicht so ganz gut Englisch versteht. Sag mal Gorod Gorovie. Ich weiß nicht, ich kann es nicht richtig aussprechen, keine Ahnung. Was gestern auf Twitch live? Jo, war ich. Was für ein Kopf? Shisha-Kopf. So, jetzt läuft da ja gerade Musik, dann kann ich ja meine ausmachen. Wo kann man den Stream live sehen? Auf Mixer. Ich hau nochmal den Link für euch rein. So. So. Auf jeden Fall lange nicht so her. Kennst du Avenza? Nee. Was soll das sein? Krass, schon so lange her, schaue seitdem seine und deine Videos und so. Nice, Mann. Freut mich über den Support. Ach so, schon klar, war Tonglas, Tonkopf. Ja, Tonkopf. Nur wegen Zombies vorbestellt, ja, ich hole es mir eigentlich auch hauptsächlich wegen Zombies. Hauptsächlich only wegen Zombies. Only wegen Zombies, Leute. Thanks, hast du mit dem Video von dem Update bezüglich M14 meinen Tag gerettet. Freut mich zu hören, Nico. Freut mich zu hören. Du sagst den Namen wie ein Russe. Ja, weil es, glaube ich, weil Dennis mir mal gesagt hat, wie ich den aussprechen soll. Also ZRC. Der streamt auch gerade. Könnt ihr mal auch vorbeischauen. Gruß da lassen. Der streamt auch gerade auf YouTube. Könnt ihr echt, wie gesagt, mal vorbeischauen. Der hat mir nur mal gesagt, ungefähr, ich spreche es immer noch falsch aus. Ich bin kein Russe. Ich roll nur das R, weil ich Franke bin. Nicht, weil ich Russe bin. Das haben mich auch schon viele gefragt. Kennst du Meier? Ja, klar. Klar kenne ich den Meier. Ich will eine Zombies-Edition sehen, will ich auch sehen. Vielleicht sehen wir die auch jetzt. Oh, es geht los. Ich schaff dann doch nicht mit meinem Kopf.
Welcome back to the Coliseum.
So, mal
Right, we got
schauen.
an awesome afternoon for you guys. You know, amazing games coming on stage to share some stuff with you. We've got Call of Duty right now. We've got we've got Spider-Man coming up a little bit later. Tonight we've got the director of Avengers, Joe Russo, here with Donald Mustard, Fortnite, and then this evening we've got an awesome performance of some of the score of God of War. So lots of great stuff. Thanks for coming to the Coliseum. Right now we're going to move on to Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Yes, I see many people with their Black Ops hats, so clearly you guys have probably already been to the booth, played it. We're going to talk about something that's not at the booth. We're going to talk about zombies. I hope that's okay with you guys. So let's bring out the guys from Treyarch to talk about all things zombies. Come on out.
Was ist so von der Lautstärke, Leute?
Hey guys.
Jason! Adam!
Hey guys.
Bonus-Mode nach der
Brian.
Unruhen? Was stand da gerade?
Jason, Adam, Brian, great.
Warum stand da
to have you
gerade im
guys
Hintergrund
with us
Bonus-Mode
here.
nach
Now,
der Unruhen?
zombies, I was telling Jason backstage. I was
Oder
talking
ist
to
es wegen World at War?
Mark Lamia from Treyarch a few weeks ago. We're having dinner. And I was
Okay,
saying
das sieht nach World at War
10
aus. Okay,
years
gut.
ago, on my old Spike show that we
Lässt du dir mal einen
revealed
Bart wachsen?
that, there's this crazy
Naja,
idea of
wenn's mal so
zombies
richtig Zeit
in
überwälzt.
Call of Duty and
So,
World
by
at
the way.
War.
Yep.
And it was, it was right at launch. You guys had sort of not really shared anything about it. I don't think anyone knew kind of quite what to make of it. And here we are a decade later.
Yep.
And people don't just appreciate it. They absolutely
passt
love
das von der
what you
Lautstärke?
guys do with,
Oder soll ich lauter machen?
with zombies. You know, it started as this Easter egg in World at War. I'd be curious to hear the history, and I know a lot of you guys have been,
involved in it since the beginning. Where did this come from? Because, you know, at the time, Call of Duty was very much, you know, rooted in reality and, you know, following the franchise from when it started, it was, you know, very real. And it was cinematic at times, but, you know, super real. So this concept of kind of just twisting things a little bit.
Bisschen lauter,
okay. Zombies, like what was the
Ja, leider geht nicht mehr schon voll.
inside the studio?
Well, I mean, one thing that you kind of can't take away from the creation of it is that the time in the project when it was created, which was right at the very end, right at the point when teams are the most stressed. You know, everything's kind of being packed in. You're trying to lock a game down, and so subsequently, there's so many different stories about where it kind of came from because all the different voices.
Everyone's taking credit, in other words.
But what I can say, and again, you know, holding the torch for it at the moment. Part of my job was to go back and kind of talk to people and look at stuff and find out different opinions on it. It came from the design department, and that idea was floated, and then different groups in the studio kind of came together and started adding stuff. You know,
was it like let's put zombies in the game, or let's come up with a different game mode, or?
To my understanding,
Okay,
it
jetzt
was,
reden die
you know,
gerade noch ein
looking at
bisschen
the
über die
assets they
History.
had,
Also, wie es eigentlich dazu gekommen ist, dass die den Zombie-Modus gemacht haben. Also darüber reden die gerade bis jetzt. Weil ja in World at War war ja die erste Karte und das war eigentlich eher so ein Easter Egg.
2 o'clock in the morning when I got a request for zombie sounds. I'm like, wait, what? We're making Call of Duty, but you know, it's just grown and turned into something so special especially for us.
Yeah, and that's why it was, you know, and because of that way that it was created, that's why it's something that we're very proud of, which was different people just coming together and making something, you know, just adding the different kind of talents, the different kind of groups. It was something that at the time lots of people said we shouldn't do. Right. And I wasn't actually on the project at that point in time, but I would have said that as well.
Well, no, and it's just so different. And, you know, you said it's one thing to have, you know, an Easter egg, right, or a zombie that shows up in a level or something. But this was, you know, like a new game mode, that the idea of waves, of sort of, you know, that whole idea. I mean, Adam, you were obviously involved in, you know, animation and thinking about, you know, what this was going to be. But the game mode and that concept of these waves, like, where did that come from?
It was. So as it's been told to me, it was that idea of kind of tower defense. Yeah. The idea of tower defense games that were very popular.
That's true. I think you're right. I do remember that.
On Flash games at the time.
Exactly.
And that's where, you know, being able to kind of jump in there and then use 3D assets and a first-person experience.
Eigentlich schon ziemlich interessant, wie die eigentlich auf die Idee des Zombie-Modus gekommen sind. Die eigentlich aus dem Zombie-Modus nur so eine Bonuskarte war und dann so ein richtig heftiger Modus eigentlich rausgekommen ist.
It was so out of left field that the part of the conversation with Activision was, okay, you put it in, but we're not going to promote this, we're not going to talk about this with anyone.
Okay.
And I think, to be honest, part of its success was due to that. Because then it became the kind of people's game. It was the people's mode, rather than if we'd promoted it and marketed it.
I remember it because we were doing an episode of TV show, and I think it was like the week before launch or something, and then we just sort of hinted at this other thing, and I think everyone online was like, "What are they talking about?" Because you're right, it was pretty hidden. Like, how was it close to not happening?
Absolutely. I mean, there was.
Wer ist Jason?
We had to put it in
der gerade da ist. Das ist Jason Blundell.
And it was
unnamed Activision.
It was done in a kind of closed room. I mean, I've told this story before, but it's put in this kind of closed room where we'd bring an executive in and say, "Okay, play this," and then, you know, we don't need to do this. You can walk away. Right. And then we'd get emails back that would say, "I got to round 20." Right. You know, I got to round 25. So these executives were like getting so competitive about it. That's when we kind of knew that we had to
Internet. Wieso?
But it was, again, just to kind of go back, it was the fact that everyone in the studio started giving more and more time on top of the job they were already doing, adding things in from the different disciplines to make this thing come to life.
I remember being around the studio, and they said there was this energy, I think, that everyone was playing. I mean, Adam, you've been on this project for a long time over the years. Was there? I mean, I assume it created an energy that was just so different. And, you know, again, this was Call of Duty, you know, after many years of making, you know, amazing games. But, you know, it's like, which war do you depict next? How do you sort of, you know, it was a freshness, I guess, right?
Absolutely. Even now, we have a lot of fun telling these new kinds of stories, new approach on telling stories. You know, it's not your typical linear, here's a story, now go play. You know, we like to set it up, show some things and not show other things.
But neue Infos?
It's how you experience the game, and you go in there and listen to the players talking, and the story unfolds that way. So it allowed us to kind of explore different ways of telling stories and developing characters and building worlds.
absolutely. And from an audio perspective, I imagine, Brian, you've been such a key part of the franchise over all these years. But for you and your guys, I imagine it allows you to flex a completely different muscle.
We started, Call of Duty is all about being as real as possible. So everything needs to be realistic and grounded. And
der Typ zum Beispiel, der ist dafür für die ganzen Easter Egg-Songs und Cutscene-Songs verantwortlich. Brian Tewey. Er und Kevin Sherwood, die haben hauptsächlich die ganze Musik von Black Ops Zombies gemacht. Also die ganzen Cutscenes und so weiter hat er immer die Hände im Spiel gehabt.
Well, and as you said,
Oder Jingles
really
oder irgendwas.
Where you can brainstorm, right? And I think, when you make a traditional Call of Duty, it's kind of like, all right, here's our period and our setting, and there's within limits you can sort of do things. Where Zombies, I imagine you sort of have a blank slate in terms of where you're going to do, what it's going to be every year. Sometimes I know it'll tie to the sort of fiction or time period of some of the games. Other times it's just completely divorced.
Well, when
wie gesagt, ich werde gerade ein bisschen weniger auf den Chat achten, Leute. Ich hoffe, es ist okay, weil ihr wollt ja wahrscheinlich das Ganze verstehen und ich will das verstehen.
Took it upon themselves to find the story in it, even though there was very kind of bare bones of what was there. They would start writing the story, and then it was only a little bit later that the audio department primarily started writing as well, writing the kind of narrative of what was kind of going on.
Yeah, I mean, really early on, we didn't have any characters speaking at all in Nocturne Toten, and then we tried to have some first-person voice in Verrückt, where we had kind of a bland set of characters. But the problem was it was hard to tell who was who, and it was because there were very similar actors reading a very similar script. So one of the guys at some point said, hey, if we make characters, I'll be able to tell who's who better. And that's where the original characters from Shinonuma came from.
Wie gesagt, gerade reden die nur ein bisschen darum, dass sie früher keine Stimmen bei den Charakteren hatten und da ging es ja ein bisschen um die Musik und das ganze Zeug. Wie gesagt, die reden gerade ein bisschen, wie es eigentlich dazu gekommen ist. Diese Mücke.
Still those waves of zombies, that's part of it, but then the idea of, you said, introducing characters.
Jetzt reden sie darum, wie es eigentlich dazu kam, dass wie sie die Story eigentlich implementiert haben, wie es dazu kam, dass die Charaktere da oder die Story da irgendwie dazu, wie sie da eigentlich dazu gekommen sind.
I mean, you had that fundamental core, which was fantastic, because
was habe ich verpasst? Bis jetzt noch nichts, weil die reden gerade ein bisschen über den Werdegang vom Zombie-Modus. Wie gesagt, die reden gerade hauptsächlich von World at War, weil das war eben das erste Call of Duty, was eben mit dem Zombie-Modus angefangen hat, wo es die ersten Karten vom Zombie-Modus gab. Und da war es damals erst ein Easter Egg und das Ganze ist halt jetzt, hat sich immer größer entwickelt mit Charakteren, mit Storyline, mit größeren Easter Eggs und darüber reden sie gerade ein bisschen.
Zombies very much has a rock'n'roll, anti-authority streak straight through it.
Gib dir mal ein Abo, danke dir. Dankeschön.
It's been, our
Glitching Queen ist nicht so hot wie du. Ja, das glaube ich.
Kind of pushing things, testing things, taking that idea that comes at the last second and running with it.
Sei doch mal ruhig. Ja, okay, ich bin wieder still. Sorry.
That's how we keep zombies fresh and how we keep it new. But you can't just kind of do that and just be pulling it out of the air every 5 seconds. So it's that combination of the rebel kind of craziness combined with a structure that you need to make sure that these professionals also can then take that and build a coherent world, right? So that's the thing that we've kept on going as we've kind of gone forward. So it's, introduce new maps, introduce new ideas, take something that everyone would say is sacrosanct and say, okay, let's put that on one side for a moment, or let's take something that you all assume is absolutely solid and change it.
No, that was always, when you you do DLC map packs, and I was like, that's cool for new maps, but then when you would always talk about, here's what's coming for zombies, it would just be themed in such an interesting, different way, you just immediately be like, it feels like a new game, right? And there was that freshness that I think excited a lot of the fans, that you guys were just doing something completely out there.
Well, and it's a hard thing, right? Because the fans, you guys, would say...
they're right here.
would say, this is something which, okay, it needs to go here next.
Yeah.
And there's that kind of pressure, which is, okay, delivering for the fans to keep them happy, but also sometimes taking that left turn is what they need also. So that's the delicate balance between, not just trolling, but also looking to kind of change it, because that's how you reinvent it for a new generation. Right?
No, and that's part of the thing I think is the continuity, because you guys have definitely gone in a bunch of different directions with it, and it's fresh, but also, as you said, people have favorites, and like, what happened to these characters, or, what, go back to this setting. Adam, from your perspective in the animation team, I imagine, whenever these ideas get dreamed up, it allows you guys to sort of think of completely different environments. I mean, is that sort of the Zombies what everyone wants to work on because it's so
I do. I love it. And what's fun for me is right next door is Craig's office.
Yeah.
So when Jason and Craig come out of there full of energy, I'm like, all right, what are we doing? Yeah. Let us know. Come on. And then as soon as he tells us, the animation team, we just love to go and just start to create, come up with ideas, talk with Jason, try to refine these ideas, and we're just so full of energy and excitement because it's so fantastical and full of wonder, and we get to try new techniques and new approaches to storytelling. It's just, it's a blast.
And audio-wise, as Jason said, very much, kind of rock and roll, anti-establishment, so allows you guys to definitely flex a very different muscle too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's just so many varied experiences across all of our maps going back to the beginning, and it's always this new challenge. Like, how are we going to do it?
Leute, bitte beleidigt euch nicht. Ansonsten muss ich euch wirklich irgendwie timeouten oder sonst
creatively really empowering to work on.
Yeah.
Are there any ideas that you sort of prototype or concepts that you sort of go down the path and you're like, yeah, this isn't working or too far? I mean, I'm sure you put it back on the shelf, but are there sort of the lost Zombies,
Yeah,
maps or ideas?
I mean, so Zombies, coming from the beginning, right? Zombies comes from the spare bits left over.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's always been in our kind of DNA when we look at Zombies. So if we try and do something, and maybe it doesn't work out this project, it gets put aside and then comes back, There was a DLC for World at War that never made it. Well, you look at the kind of maps in Black Ops 1, and that was the leftover bits from the DLC 4 that was never made. So sometimes we'll try an idea, sometimes it doesn't come through.
Yeah.
Or more the case nowadays is that we'll have more ideas than we can actually execute in the time period. Yeah. So we just say, okay, let's hold them, and then let's come back to them a little bit later on.
A lot of great ideas. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and there have been some insane, maps over the years, the moon, I mean, other crazy things. Do you guys have any favorites out of the 10 years of ones that you sort of personally, speak to you personally, you guys?
Shinonuma for me, just because it was the Ultimus crew, and we introduced them for the first time. And if you look back, I think that map's a little underrated. It actually plays really well, but also a lot of the things in that map grew into what we have today. Yeah. So I always look back, I got excited when we remastered it recently, so I'm like, I get to go back to the beginning of the characters here, which is cool.
Yeah, I agree. The audio on that just blew my mind. Like, I loved Zombies before that, but I remember playing in that hut where you start off and you're looking out the windows and you could just hear the zombies creeping up. It drew me in. I love that map,
I'm biased, so I'm going to say Mob of the Dead.
Yeah. Here's that.
That's just a shameless plug for Blood of the Dead right there. But, for me it was... And again, one of those maps where we get to take a left turn and try something different.
Yeah.
And every time you do that, you never know what's going to kind of stick and what's going to work. And I just felt really happy that we got the vibe, and it was one of the first ones where we all went out on location. So we all went down to San Francisco and recorded and captured all the textures and all this kind of fun stuff. So I felt like all the components were working in kind of tandem and kind of telling that story.
Yeah, and that movie was a lot of fun to make too.
Yeah, the movie as well. Yeah.
I mean,
black and white, and a lot of fun.
So that's why I just think it's such a white space that you guys just every year get to kind of come up, or every 3 years get to come up with something crazy. I guess with DLCs you do every year.
It's like, let's do Stalingrad, but let's put a huge dragon in there while we're at it. Or let's do World War I with massive robots.
All fits in the picture. I mean, is there we should talk a bit about the canon of Zombies, because you push in so many different directions. I mean, is there the official lore? I mean, how much do you track in terms of that?
There is the official lore. There is the official timeline that we released when we did Chronicles. So we put the huge timeline out, and that was a trip. So we had it all being kind of logged in a kind of roundabout way, a napkin here or a Post-it note there. And I popped into the narrative team and said, hey guys, just got a little bit of a weekend task for you.
Exactly.
Make this all work. Can you just write down the entire storyline in one coherent way? And I think it was like 2.5 months later to actually correlate it all and bring it all together. So yes, there's an official.
It all works somehow.
It all works. But here's the thing.
Wenn es was Wichtiges gibt, dann werde ich schon sagen, Leute. Die reden gerade immer noch ein bisschen über Zombie Chronicles, Zombie Storyline. Also über altes Bekanntes reden die gerade noch.
And that's just as much of an active choice, So sometimes it's the negative space in the picture rather than the detail.
You'll go fill in at some point. We've also had some really great celeb cameos over the years. That's one of sort of my favorite moments or some of the talent that comes in. Again, you know, Black Ops has had some great talent in the main game, but Zombies you have as well. Any favorites?
Bless you. My one, I'm going to go with Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff was a force of nature. So normally when you do VO recording, someone kind of goes in the booth, you're sitting out there with your audio director, and they'll read the line, and then they'll do it 3 times, and you say, I'll take the B take, or I'll take the A take. Yeah. Jeff came in, and we just let it run. Because he would, you know, he'd just kind of warm in and he'd be like, yes, yes, the shield is quicker than the eye, and just kind of do it like a couple of times, right? And he would just go there, and then he would read the next person's lines as well. Yeah. Well, what has my wife done? You know, just start
That's
going
what needs to be released.
Yeah, and it was so good that we just couldn't call takes.
Yeah.
So he was absolutely amazing. Yeah.
And I'm sure from Animation Cinematic's perspective, it's fun because often you've had, you know, the characters look like those actual talents, right? Yeah. Any fun stories for you, Adam?
Well, one of the first celebrity ones that we did was with Michael Rooker
über die Schauspieler,
and that was a lot of fun. The energy he brought there was infectious.
You know,
he took it all seriously. He brought his A performance every single time. There was times where he'd be like, whoa, they're not real, you know. But he would go in there and have this energy, like, come here, I'm gonna get you. It was so much fun to work with that guy.
Chef nicht dieser neu bei Twerk?
That's awesome.
Keine Ahnung. Jack Goldblum ist ein Schauspieler.
I mean, my favorite's Rooker also. He was amazing. But, you know, the celebrity maps just kind of gave us all yet another break on this narrative thing we were on. So, like, I actually love all those maps for completely different reasons.
Yeah,
that's a good point, yeah.
Now, you know, one thing we haven't talked about, which we absolutely should, is the community that has built around zombies.
Jetzt reden sie über die Community,
you know,
über die
Easter eggs.
Zombie-Community.
I mean, it's just it's
so
fascinating. I remember years ago on YouTube, I'd be watching, like, Noah J or something. It's like all these people watching his stream months after the game has come out as he's searching for something. And it really, I mean, it's been so much fun. Tell us a bit about the Zombies community, many of which are probably here today at E3. They are so passionate about this mode. And tell me sort of about the evolution of that, and I think the fun sort of relationship that Treyarch has with the community.
Yeah, well, I would say that their passion is what inspires us to do the best work of our career.
Absolutely.
It's the fact that they're so into it that drives us. It sounds cliche, but it truly is, because we feel this expectation. When we see that kind of passion, we see that level of engagement. It's like, okay, how do we go further? How do we make them something they're not expecting?
Danach noch beantworten, Leute. Wir können mir noch Fragen stellen, schnell.
A lot of those fan theories and a lot of that
aber gerade eben will ich ein bisschen zuhören und ich will nicht drüber laufen, weil sonst verstehen die anderen hier, die zuschauen, auch nichts.
Was a hidden song written by Kevin Sherwood, who works for Treyarch. And we hid it in Verrückt because we made it, and it was like, oh, this is actually a pretty cool song.
Über das erste Easter Egg.
Let's just put it as an Easter egg in Verrückt and see how long it takes people to find
Song in Verrückt.
It was like an hour.
Da, wo man das Klo dreimal betätigen muss.
But that was really inspiring. It's like, oh, people were into that. They should hide more stuff. And so it's kind of how, that's why we even call the quest line Easter egg, even though it's no longer really an Easter egg. But yeah, it's really cool watching the community discuss all these things, and you know, early on websites are springing up, and now there's YouTubers everywhere. It's just amazing to be a part of.
Yeah. We've learned not to say this one will take ages, because every time we say anything like that or indicate that, oh, this is a big one, they've got it in 24 hours.
But I mean, tell me about that sort of, you know, the gamesmanship of you guys, you know, creating things, and you know, there's definitely, I think, there's a relationship with that community of sort of like, I mean, how does that work, brainstorming, like, especially Easter eggs? I mean, it's stuff that, you know, again, the hunt
that's why we even
is part of the fun.
Well, I try, you know, I'll think about it in different levels or different strata to think about, here's the easy ones that you can kind of just easily get. Then here's ones that, you know, they're probably going to have to work in a team to get. And then here's ones that are nigh on impossible. You know, they're not going to get these, which they then do. Yes. But by thinking about it in kind of different ways means that different levels of people, you know, their engagement, there's always something else. There's always another depth to kind of discover. But over the years, it's got more and more complicated. I started off with a computer science background and programming, so I was like, oh, I'll do the ciphers, I'll do this, you know.
Ein Interview mit Chase Blundell, den Leiter des Zombie-Modus Studios, der redet ein bisschen über
that's all the trickiness
die Zombie-History, über Easter Eggs, über alles Mögliche und vielleicht über Neues von Black Ops 4.
Again, like, that's why, you know, some people play to
ist.
find those, other people will watch someone else play to find them, and it's, you know, that's what's fun. Are there any Easter eggs that have not been found?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Your task is at hand.
Gerade hat gefragt, ob es noch...
No.
Come on.
Well, here's the thing. So there's a whole bunch that haven't been found, and there's a bunch that they haven't got through it yet. But but when we get into the end, so I try to have a careful relationship with the community, which is close enough but not too close.
Okay.
Because if you get too close, then you're just following what they're asking for.
Yes.
But you want to be aware. You don't want to be deaf to it. So trying to be, questions that get asked and say, okay, which one? Where's the Easter eggs you haven't found? I like to be a little bit more separated, and then I'll have people on the team tell me, like, oh, they haven't found that one yet. I'm like, okay, excellent, okay.
But I'm just curious, like, are there dozens of things out there still, or what's?
On the different ones, there's, as little as kind of like a handful up to a couple of handfuls.
So vague. So a handful. So 5, at least 5.
I didn't say how amputated the hand was. But it's part of my stick now is to give nondescript answers to questions.
No, look, but that's part of the fun, I guess. Yeah. And now, when you go into something like Black Ops 4.
Oh, Chris, hi, was geht?
How, the Easter eggs, how big of a conversation is it about? I said how
hat gerade gesagt, dass es immer noch Easter Eggs gibt in den alten CODs, die immer noch nicht gefunden worden sind.
It's a combination, right? So we'll engage with different departments, different groups, and talk about where we're hiding things. Especially now that we're telling a new story, we've got a brand new story now in Black Ops 4. When we get to the end of the previous story, we were putting more things in ciphers, making it a lot harder because each one could give so much gold in a small amount. Yeah. But when you go to a new story, then it's almost like a rewinding the mentality back to the beginning, where it's a bit more overt about the story because you want to get people vested and into what's going on, all this kind of stuff. So the mentality has changed as well.
Alles easy.
Well, something like a Blood of the Dead, so forth. You can go a little bit more hardcore because there's fans who will be really wanting to know the smallest little bit. So kind of combining it and talking about different techniques, whether it be in an animation or be it a sound Easter egg. And sound, being there from the very beginning, has a very special place in my heart. The kind of sound Easter eggs or the audio ones, because that's where they first came from. Those ideas, those recordings, hidden that you press X on something that we wouldn't tell you, and then some audio log.
Ja, immer noch nicht alle Easter Eggs gelöst.
Going into the new story, I like the idea.
Nicht jeder kriegt hier Mod, aber ich habe jetzt 3 Mods hinzugefügt, weil hier, weil ich sonst keine Mods hier habe auf YouTube. Ich streame ja eigentlich auf Twitch, Leute. Ihr könnt mir gerne auch, wenn ihr weiterhin Livestreams von mir verfolgen wollt, auf Twitch folgen.
Revealed a lot earlier than I think you ever have, right? Yes. On Zombies. It was a massive reveal of all the modes of Black Ops 4. But tell me, the team approaching this, 3-year dev cycle. When you start out, on this new cycle, a couple years ago on Black Ops 4 Zombies, what was the original vision? What did you guys want to accomplish in this game?
I think the big thing that we were going after was starting a new story.
Yeah.
We've been telling the previous story for 10 years, and there was so much creativity in the team. And we've been blessed with the large majority of the team who are here today were there 10 years ago. Yeah. When we did Chronicles, for example, most of the people who made those maps were making them again for the remaster. And that's why, when Brian's talking about, the joy of going back for the sound, the designers were doing that as well, kind of going back and scripting stuff as well. So the idea is building up, and you're like, okay, could we jam this into the other storyline? Sure, we could.
Yeah.
But we kind of know where we want to go with that. And so very early on, it was like, let's not keep jamming stuff into a storyline where we know how we want to finish it and where we want to bring it to.
Yeah.
Let's start this new story. But then that's all scary, because now you're starting something that the audience doesn't know, you're going to reveal for the first time. But that fear and that excitement is what drives the team. That's what made Zombies in the first place so exciting. It was this feeling of, who knows? So taking all the things that the community had taught us and being able to start a new story with new mechanics and new ideas, that's what's driving us. That's what's keeping it exciting. That's what's keeping it fresh. Yeah. And that's what's kind of keeping the team alive and excited.
So on like a 3-year dev cycle like this, the Zombies always sort of have a similar cadence in terms of when you come up with the idea and execute it. I mean, you're obviously doing a lot here, so that is. I don't know, I guess I'm wondering about the evolution of the Zombies mode in sort of a 3-year cycle and prototyping it, because obviously some of it is building off of what the team is doing on the main game too, in terms of systems and technology and everything. So you sort of have to ramp up with the main game in some ways, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like an asset sharing. So, for instance, like the weapons, the multiplayer pretty much dictates the weapon selection we're going to have for the map. And then we'll highlight a handful of them and say, these are the special weapons, or these are the wonder weapons, or whatever that's going to be. But then, because the zombies mode has grown so much, it's turned to a point now where it has its own kind of feature list, where we're talking about its own
game.
Yeah, so it's... Before it was just like, hey, what bits do you have left over? Can we borrow some? And now it's kind of like, we want this. You know, there you go. So,
and I think even probably, animation-wise, I mean, we saw from the reveal, I mean, massive cutscenes, new content, and I mean, this is for
new
the game,
characters.
I'm sure is a huge part of what you guys do every year now.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we were reviewing something before we came over here.
Tell us more.
wait.
Cut his mic.
Yeah. But no, but like this new crew, these new 4 are very interesting characters, and we're very excited to explore them and grow them and help them come to life and reveal more about them over time. But to me, that's very exciting, because we want to explore new stories, we want to explore new ways to tell stories or what not to tell. And
jetzt reden Sie gerade über Black Ops 4, Leute. Ich rede gleich mit euch.
We like to go in the animation department. We like to go crazy, and Jason has to come in and tell us, whoa, hold on.
I killed the fun. That's what he's saying.
No, not at all. No. The collaboration is great, but us as animators love to just see how far we can take that. And then working with Jason and other departments, we start to wrangle that in, even complementing it with the music. We partner up very early on, and how do these scenes and the audio work together. I mean, it's a real collaborative effort, and through that, it makes it a lot of fun, and we're all working together and getting the different departments and disciplines talking about things. Like, there's things that the audio guys have brought up that I thought, wow, that's a really great idea, and we would incorporate into our scenes and just keep growing the ideas together. It's really a lot of fun.
Yeah, wow. like the music videos, right? That was something, the hidden track in the beginning.
Also ja, ich will gerade nicht. Ich will gerade nicht reden, Leute.
Let's do music videos now. Let's tell stories now.
Exactly right.
With the music.
The one was the first music video too, because it was based on that, right?
Right. So that idea of like, okay, let's take the lyrics, and then the imagery that we marry with it can then tell the community new things, right? All the way to the point where you get to, where are we going, right? Where we were like selling this kind of creepy vibe and a very different song, a very different kind of performance. So again, using the kind of different disciplines, different groups to tell stories, and that's really the kind of key to it. Right?
And like I was saying
Trotzdem zu laut, etwas leiser.
Our stories aren't just about the movies anymore. It's about how much you want to engage with the story. The more you interact with it and hearing the characters talking to each other. And depending on what your combo is, you get more information. And I really love to help developing that and working that story
out.
I think what's cool about it is if you want the story, you have to go find it.
Yeah.
And if you just want to slay the undead, it's all there for you.
Chill, Yusuf.
And now, so much variety too, right?
Zu deiner Frage, keine Ahnung, ob Kevin wieder zu Black Ops 4 aktiv wird.
Crazy things like Voyage of Despair.
Frag ihn selbst.
Like, I'm sure, as you said, there's stuff not on the cutting room floor. It just gets pushed off to the DLCs or things like that. How did the campaigns that you are shipping with? Tell us a bit about why you decided to push forward with those for launch.
I can't really.
War ich gerade auf dem Stream after Yusuf. Deswegen musst du mich nicht beleidigen. Chill doch mal. Chill dein
This kind
Leben.
of goes to the question
Alles
I might
cool,
not fully
man.
have answered before from you, which is, in the early days, it was, okay, here's an idea, and then, okay, we got this level, let's put another idea here. And as we got further and further along, we had to plan a little bit further out, a little bit more further out. And you get
Also
to this
kommt alle wieder
now
runter,
where
Leute. Wir wollen
starting a new crew for its success.
Wir wollen
you
einen
need to
gediegenen
really kind of
Stream
think all
und
the
keine
way
Beleidigung oder sonst irgendwas.
But then also, for people who are driven by narrative and our kind of storytelling, it's also important not to tell it in order, but for it not to be timey-wimey for the sake of it, if you will.
Yeah.
So Voyage and 9 are two key points in the storyline that will be told.
Okay.
But I'm not saying necessarily where they are in that storyline.
So, but it is. So it sounds there is interconnectedness.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. But that's the part that we also want the fans to kind of investigate. So as they're playing, when they're saying about you're not going to get the same line every single time, whoever's next to each other, that's going to allow them to start kind of connecting those threads. The timeline coming out in Chronicles was appropriate because everyone had been through that stuff.
Yeah.
This one, I would put the challenge out to the community to start making the timeline before I have to.
Got to get more, though. Come on. You also announced you're doing a fourth map classified, right? With
yes.
Cartesian. All right, getting to the questions you guys want to hear. So, break it down. What can you tell us?
What can I tell you?
So, jetzt das.
Unclassified.
The clues in the title.
The clues in the title.
It's going to be based in the Pentagon.
5. 5.
And it's
this guy just gave him a shake. Was that what your guess? Okay, there's a bet. What was the bet?
Which crew then?
Ooh. Oh, which crew?
Which one? Okay, let me tell you this.
5.
Okay. So it's
mit einer anderen Crew.
The original crew. Wow. So it's the it's the Ultimus gang. So
Ultimus gang.
Black Ops 4 is going to have our Primus crew in there, and then also our Ultimus crew and our new gang as well.
Wow.
So
all right, Jason.
And that's gonna set up some of the craziness that we saw in 5. You know, why did that happen? How did they get there? All that kind of good stuff.
Aber ich will das haben.
It's a wonderful style. We're kind of approaching it in a very unique way artistically.
Oh wow. Okay.
But it also kind of folds into all those kind of mechanisms that we talked about on the reveal. So the kind of custom mutations and so forth. All that stuff then works as well. So every map that we're doing all works with the challenger system and so forth. So not only is it a kind of brand new take on that part of the storyline, and obviously a joy to go back and update it and modernize it, but it's a new part in the story also.
I mean, it's just it's insane how much stuff has to interconnect and all be sort of planned together. I mean, when and this is being developed alongside the 3 that'll come out.
Original crew.
Yeah, the whole team is busying away right now.
The Black Ops 1
straight
crew.
after this, I've got to take these guys home because they've got to go back to work.
Exactly.
After this project.
No, and I mean, even for you guys, you know, you've got the entire game to sort of think about, and I mean, you stay focused primarily, I guess, on zombie stuff. But for you guys, I mean, now, it feels like zombies is a big part of what the audio and art teams are working on every year, right? I mean, how do you, because at least. And now MP obviously is big, and then Blackout and everything. But it's zombies is so different.
Die Ultimus, das sind die.
Because it's so new.
Moment.
That's a good question. I don't think so. The way we have our in the animation side, we have our teams broken up in the different subgroups. We have cinematics, AI, and player animations. So as we start to develop and design these games, we start putting the resources and the energy in the right places. So it never really feels disproportionate at all. It's just part of the game development cycle.
I've got to call out for our amazing production department that makes all this stuff work. They're the kind of unsung heroes of all this because we have obviously our talent and our kind of energy that we're kind of going into different disciplines, but they're sitting in the background making sure all these pieces fit together. So.
Let me text on that question. What do you guys think?
And audio, I mean, you're doing different sort of soundscapes.
Yeah, I mean, I got to keep people from begging me to work on zombies. That's the easy one.
All right.
Yeah, everybody loves working on it. It's just it's so much fun. And it's so different. If you need to shift gears or you're not feeling creatively inspired on some other part of the game, hey, there's a zombies task for you right here.
Well, that's a good point because I imagine even for the team, working on the same style of game for so many years, it's like to have this fresh creative palette with zombies every year. I think it feels like a new game. I mean, when you see those trailers for what you guys are doing this year for the 3 campaigns, it's kind of like
it's fresh every map.
Exactly.
It's every map.
Every new map that comes out, we're like, what are we doing now? All right.
What's it going to be? And in many ways, you can do whatever you want because I feel like now time period setting, it's like there is. Is there anything that you guys have proposed that you're like, no, this is too crazy? Like it just doesn't work?
Nope. It's. I mean, that's what makes it fun, right?
Yeah.
And there's very few times in a person's career where you have that opportunity.
Yeah.
As game professionals, our job is to make the project work and make it to the best of our ability. When you have a project that's so open-ended and supported by the fans so lovingly, it gives us the freedom to be able to try new things, go to new places, and that keeps us alive and fresh with the kind of creativity. And hopefully, they feel that, the community feels it. I've said before, which is hopefully when you're playing zombies, you can feel every discipline's love for the mode itself coming through. I'm a bit hippie in that way. I feel like if people are loving what they're doing, then you feel it on the receiving end. So that's what we endeavor to do on zombies all the time.
Well, speaking of the community, I know we've got I think we've got a video question from a Facebook fan over at the E3 Hall that wanted to ask you something about that. So we want to take a look now at the video question from a fan on Facebook.
So my question is basically, will any of the previous Zombies lore tie in to the new game? Any of the story continuation or even references to the existing lore, since it was such a great story?
A wonderful question. Yes, that'll be tied into Blood of the Dead.
Okay,
so Blood of the Dead carries on that story. That was easy. I got away with that one.
I thought that was going to be a hard one. With a whole map of theories, like asking you to confirm X, Y, and Z on the timeline.
Yeah, Blood is. I won't say anything more on where that fits in, but it's. Yes, it is carrying on that story. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, I think we have another one. Second question. I'm a fan over at the Convention Center.
Hi, I was wondering if you ever see yourself introducing zombies into the Battle Royale mode as something that might distinguish you from other games that are coming out with Battle Royale modes.
All right, get some Blackout scoop. Here we go. Don't tell Vaughn.
Oof. I would. I'm going to use my catch-all answer, which is never say never.
Yes.
Never say never.
I mean, he was sort of saying pretty much everything in the world of Black Ops somehow will factor into.
Well, yeah, I mean, the kind of obviously our characters, and we showed that on our reveal.
Yeah.
Locations may also make an appearance there. So there's already kind of a certain level of it, but who knows how that goes, right?
Are you? I mean, how involved are you in sort of? I mean, Blackout, like obviously you got a lot to do, but that's something that
we're actually staying focused all on our dedicated zombie side. We have dedicated teams for each one of these things. Yeah. So the maps we're doing for launch, which obviously there's 4 maps there, plus a DLC season coming down the road. We got more than enough to focus on in that.
There's a lot there. Yeah. Now I'm sure everyone's wondering when we're going to get more on this. It was cool, in May to get details on these campaigns earlier than ever before. Traditionally, I think you guys have held for kind of Comic-Con or summertime to sort of start to share what zombies are later.
Yeah, forget what you know.
There's
my marketing line.
Any teases you can sort of tell us about, when we'll hear more or the next sort of phase of information on zombies?
So the next time we'll be talking, we'll be at Comic-Con.
Okay.
So we're going to go to Comic-Con, be chatting there. Yeah. But because we knew we were going to come along today and have the chat with you, there's a couple extra little things that I thought I'd talk about.
You guys into that? Pays to stick around until the end of the panel.
So we talked about maps, and we mentioned that, and obviously introduced a new storyline. And we talked about, I think, custom mutations. We talked about that a little bit. I thought I'd mention a couple of new mechanics or twists on mechanics that the audience might find interesting. So for the first time, we're going to give a choice for your starting weapon. So you get to select your starting weapon before you start the map.
Oh.
You'll also be able to select your own special equipment as well to kind of go into the map before you start.
For everything.
For everything. Wow. And then you'll also be able to select your special weapon, which you'll be able to upgrade and move through as you're kind of playing the game. And then as a final point,
you'll
also be able to choose your what we're calling perk vapors, of which there'll be over 10 different kind of perk vapors, and you'll be able to assign them into the world. So rather than having your kind of perk machines just kind of static and staying there, now players will be able to kind of choose what combination of things and how to set it up into the map to change the way the map is played and what abilities and skills they can then have. Wow. So there's a couple of mechanics there.
I was going to say, so this is definitely...
That's an exclusive for you there.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I like those. That's amazing. I mean, it feels like that's going to obviously, allow so much more customization. I mean, your loadout effectively when you're kind of...
And that's the kind of thing which is, when we're talking about, the most deepest customizable game we've created, that's part of it, right? Taking all the things which are kind of static or predictable and then giving the players the choice. So not only the choice for me as an individual, but if we're playing together, what's the combination of things that we're taking? And that's part of the strategy you're taking to defeat a map or get an advantage on a map as well.
Wow. All right, you guys into that? Yeah. All right, well, we will see more, it sounds like, at Comic-Con about that. And got to say, an incredible reveal for Black Ops 4. I know how hard everyone at Treyarch worked to, put all that content together, an hour of stuff. And, we don't even know that much about Blackout yet. I saw Vaughn and Bunting the other day on the YouTube show, and they're like, no more hints. But I think they talked about ballistics of weapons and how, but that was about all we got. So it's amazing to see what you guys are putting together, and we can't wait to see more and play it this October. Give it up to the guys from Treyarch.
Thank you.
Black Ops 4. Thanks, awesome. Thanks, guys. We'll be right back. Check.
So.
Good stuff. Amazing. Thank you. Adam, thanks, man. Brian, good to see you.
I think we need to look differently about the way women.
Es gab jetzt am Ende ein paar Sachen, die mir jetzt schon wieder nicht so ganz gefallen. Ich mag. Okay, pass auf. Jetzt am Ende, ich weiß nicht, ob es jeder von euch verstanden hat oder nicht. Jetzt am Ende wurden noch 4 Sachen angekündigt von Jason Blundell, die mehr oder weniger gut sind. Es gibt nämlich neue Mechaniken im Zombie-Modus. Das heißt, man kann eigentlich seine Anfangswaffe jetzt auswählen, eigentlich das, was World War II schon vorgemacht hat. Man hat nicht mehr irgendeine Anfangswaffe irgendwie schon fest vorgegeben. Man kann sie auswählen. Finde ich noch so okay, also finde ich okay. Die nächste Sache, die irgendwie geändert wurde, ist, dass man auch irgendeine Ausrüstung auswählen kann, die man mitnehmen kann. Ich habe keine Ahnung, was er damit meint. Ich weiß nicht, ob man Claymores oder irgendwie sowas mitnehmen kann, schon automatisch von Anfang an. Das ist jetzt das Einzige, was ich mir unter Ausrüstung vorstellen könnte. Und man kann irgendwie die Spezialwaffe schon von Anfang an mitnehmen, damit man die im Laufe des Spiels dann upgraden kann. Spezialwaffe, ja, sowas wie der Annihilator. Also das ist dann Spezialwaffe. Ich weiß nicht, ob ich es gut finde. Semtex, ja, stimmt, das könnte vielleicht auch noch sein. Semtex bei Ausrüstung und so weiter. Ich weiß nicht, ob ich es gut finde, dass es wieder Spezialwaffen im Zombie-Modus gibt, weil es geht mir wieder jetzt gerade ein bisschen in Richtung Black Ops 3. Fähigkeiten, nee, Fähigkeiten nicht unbedingt, aber da komme ich gleich zu dem nächsten Punkt. Pass auf, ja, wie gesagt, also anscheinend gibt es wieder irgendwelche Spezialwaffen wie die Annihilator. Keine Ahnung, ob ich das gut finde. Ich habe es eigentlich nicht so cool gefunden. Musste nicht unbedingt sein. Ich glaube, in Black Ops 3 gab es ja auch nur die Annihilator als Spezialwaffe. Bin mir jetzt gerade nicht sicher. Doch, es gibt Perk-Automaten. Pass auf. Das ganze System, ich weiß jetzt, ich muss es mir wahrscheinlich gleich nochmal anschauen. Ich werde dann eben ein Video für morgen machen, für die Zusammenfassung und so weiter. Nee. Also, pass auf. Geiles Ding, Chris. Nee, es gibt Perk-Automaten. Es gibt Spezialwaffen, sind OP, ja. Es gibt Perk-Automaten. Ich mache gerade eine Zusammenfassung, Sven Gamer. Also, wie gesagt, ihr könnt gerade nochmal zuhören. Genau, Ragnarok, Schwert und so weiter. Stimmt, ja, okay. Aber die haben es irgendwie, genau, es gab das Schwert und so weiter. Das waren ja auch alles Spezialwaffen. Da habt ihr gerade recht, genau. Da habe ich gerade gar nicht dran gedacht. Ragnaroks, ja. Es ist aber jetzt eine gute Frage, was die jetzt genau unter Spezialwaffen meinen. Ob die wirklich die Sachen jetzt dann meinen, dass man die von Anfang dann mitnehmen kann oder nicht. Es ist jetzt eine gute Frage, weil es wurde auf jeden Fall von Jason Blundell gerade gesagt, ja, es gibt Spezialwaffen, die man irgendwie von Anfang schon auswählen kann und die man dann im Laufe des Games upgraden kann. Jetzt dann noch zu den Perks. Anscheinend ist es so, dass das Perk-System auch geändert wurde. Es gibt schon noch Perks auf der Karte, soweit ich das richtig verstanden habe. Das heißt, es stehen immer noch die Perks irgendwie auf der Karte herum, man kann die dann normal kaufen und so weiter. Und ja, aber es gibt auch jetzt irgendwelche Perk-Vapors, also irgendwie Varianten oder so. Warte mal, ja, irgendwie Varianten gibt es jetzt von diesen Perks. Also wahrscheinlich kann man die Perks verbessern, dass man vielleicht noch schneller nachlädt oder ich weiß es nicht. Anscheinend irgendwelche ja, anderen Geschmäcker oder Varianten. Vapor heißt ja irgendwie Variante oder irgendwie sowas, glaube ich, jetzt auf, weiß es nicht, Dämpfe heißt das eigentlich, ne, glaube ich. Oder irgendwie Gas sonst, ich weiß es nicht genau. Anscheinend gibt es da irgendwelche Varianten. Ja, also ich weiß nicht, wie das genau gemeint ist mit diesen Varianten. Also 10 verschiedene soll es anscheinend geben. Was genau damit gemeint ist, gute Frage. Vielleicht sind es dann irgendwie so Mods aus World at War. Finde ich aber wieder nicht gut. Ich will einfach meine Perks haben und mehr nicht. Sowas wie die Kaugummis. Vielleicht mehr neue Perks. Gute Frage, gute Frage. So langsam mache ich mir Sorgen. Ja, gute Frage. Also wie gesagt, er hat auch gemeint, dass das Ganze halt dafür da ist, dass man, ja, wie erklären das am besten, dass man halt, wenn man mit anderen spielt, dass man halt sich so ein bisschen absprechen kann, ja, was man hat und was man nicht hat. So wie die Masken von Revelations. Könnte vielleicht auch sein, ja. Könnte vielleicht auch sein, dass es da schon in die Richtung geht. Kommt Grief, wurde nichts gesagt. Ja, was wurde noch gesagt? Es gibt 5. Es gibt 5 auf jeden Fall. Ja. Es kehrt aber nicht die Präsidenten-Crew zurück. Also man kann nicht Fidel Castro spielen, auch nicht Kennedy. Es geht die Ultimus Crew zurück. Die Ultimus Crew ist die Original Crew. Das heißt, die Charaktere aus Black Ops 1, soweit ich das weiß. Also das sind die die originalen Charaktere, die man in Black Ops 1 und Black Ops 1 gespielt hat. In Black Ops 1. Ja. Das sind die Original Crew. Also die aus Black Ops 1 wird man auf 5 spielen. Das wurde auch geschafft. Das ist die Ultimus Crew. Ja, was wurde noch gesagt? Es gibt eine Menge Easter Eggs, die noch nicht gelöst worden sind in alten CODs. Also Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, vielleicht auch World at War. I don't know. Was war der Beta für den PC kommt? Keine Ahnung. Keine Ahnung, dazu wurde nichts gesagt. Ist das Schild dabei? Wurde auch nichts gesagt. Kommt die Victus Crew zurück? Meinst du die Transit Crew oder was? Ich glaube nicht. Ich glaube, die Transit Crew, die kommen nicht mit Black Ops 4. Würde mich wundern. Würde mich wundern. Ist 5 kostenlos? Nee, das ist im Season Pass enthalten. Deswegen. Also du musst einen Season Pass kaufen, um eben 5 zu bekommen. Ne? So. Lol. Instagram. Kommt chronomische Nachrichten. Warte, ist das hier... Ich glaube, das ist von Chris. Von Chris. Wenn ich richtig sehe. Na egal. So. Nee, was wurde noch gesagt? Wie gesagt, Easter Eggs gibt es noch einige, die nicht gelöst sind. Und ja. Ja, ich glaube, das wurde alles gesagt. Lies mal bitte meine Theorie durch. Was ich... Mit anderen Charakteren, das heißt sowas wie Gerüche, weil es gibt ja bei der... kann auch sein. Ich weiß nicht genau, was da wirklich gesagt jetzt wurde, was nicht gesagt wurde. Ist jetzt gerade echt eine gute Frage. Richtung und so war die geilsten Zombie-Charakter, wie siehst du das? Ja, finde ich auch. Also anscheinend, also ihr müsst euch das vorstellen, in Blood of the Dead ist die neue Richtofen-Crew, die man aus der Origins-Timeline kennt. Und auf 5 die alte Crew, die man aus dem Black Ops 1 Karten kennt, aus Kino der Toten, aus Call of the Dead, Ascension, Moon. Gut, dass du weißt, wie mein Schlafzimmer aussieht. Nee, das liegt an was anderes, woher ich das kenne, Chris. Das ist, weil mir der Name bekannt vorkam und weil das so aussah wie auf deinem Bild. Auf das Bild, wo du mir per Snapchat geschickt hast. Weil ich irgendwas, glaube ich, mal auf Facebook von euch beiden gelesen habe. So. In Black Ops 1 war es doch die Primus Crew. Nee, in Black Ops 1 war es die Ultimus Crew. Die Originalcharakteren Ultimus. Das ist alles verwirrend. Ja. Victis sind Transit-Crew. Primus sind die aus... Also wenn ich es jetzt gerade nicht ganz, verdrehe. Aber doch, ich lese es hier gerade richtig. Ultimus Crew ist die von Ascension, Call of the Dead und so weiter. Primus sind die anderen. Victis ist die Transit Crew. So. Bin echt damit über das Game nicht wohl, habe mich hier drauf gefreut. Ja, mal schauen, was dazu jetzt noch alles kommt und nicht kommt. Oh, Bitfire. Ich antworte dir später noch auf Instagram. Ich kam heute noch nicht dazu. Ich habe es gesehen, dass du mir geschrieben hast. Fand ich auch mega cool, was du geschrieben hast. Aber ich antworte dir dann noch auf Insta. So. Wird die neue Story noch Black Ops 2 oder wird die Black Ops 4? Ich weiß es nicht, keine Ahnung. Soweit habe ich noch nicht mal gedacht. Das ist der Aufbau fast wie in World War II. Hört sich bis jetzt so an. Wisst hört man nicht, wie sie reden? Ja, die reden gerade über anderes Spiel. Ich weiß nicht, über was die reden. Ich habe das gerade leise gestellt, weil das ist schon aus gerade. Ja, ich glaube, ich mache jetzt auch mal den Stream aus, Leute. Falls ihr jetzt gerade noch ganz wichtige Fragen habt, dann stellt sie jetzt. Weil ansonsten... Jan, du hast Insta? Ja, hab ich. Aber das ist so eher eigentlich mein privater Instagram-Account. Deswegen. Da ist eher so privater Shit. Deswegen, also falls ihr gerade noch irgendwelche Fragen habt, irgendwas, dann haut's jetzt raus. Ansonsten bedanke ich mich auf jeden Fall fürs Zuschauen, fürs Dabeisein, fürs Einschalten. Und ihr könnt gerne mir auf Twitch folgen. Auf Twitch, weil da streame ich normalerweise immer. Auf YouTube eigentlich selten. Das habe ich jetzt heute nur ausnahmsweise gemacht, damit ich das gleich auf YouTube hochladen kann. Deswegen, danke für die Reportage. Kein Thema. Wie findest du mit der neuen Storyline in Zombie? Keine Ahnung. Ich finde was Neues eigentlich nie schlecht. Kommt drauf an, wie es dann wird. Ich habe es ja noch nicht gespielt. Irgendwie mit dir zocken? Ja, wird wenn dann auf Twitch auch sein, wenn ich livestreame. Warum macht Lance keine Videos mehr? Ja, weil er wahrscheinlich nicht mehr so Lust drauf hat. Wieder Tutorials machen? Ja klar. Es werden wieder ganz viele Tutorials kommen zu Black Ops 4. Das wird auf jeden Fall so sein. Das wird auf jeden Fall sein. Machst du noch ein extra Video dazu? Das wird aber dann morgen kommen. Ja, ich werde dazu noch eine Zusammenfassung machen. Die werde ich jetzt gleich am Anschluss aufnehmen. Und ja, dann würde ich sagen, Black Ops 4 mit Vecti spielen wird auch passieren. Wird auch wieder passieren. Und dann würde ich sagen, habt noch einen schönen Abend. Wie gesagt, vielen Dank fürs Dabeisein und man hört sich demnächst vielleicht auf Twitch, auf YouTube oder sonst irgendwo. Haut rein, euer Reaper. Ade.